Don't you guys just love it when you're sitting in the theater and you're watching the movie and you get 10, 15 minutes in and all of a sudden the movie just shuts off for like 5 to 10 minutes. You're staring at a dark screen and it's just really quiet and you don't know who's going to talk first, but someone's going to. That happened with this movie. Yep, there was about 6, 7 minutes of the movie that I didn't get to watch. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and this is my review of the new horror comedy, Ready or Not. This is a movie that stars Samara Weaving as a new bride into this family that she gets married into. They have this weird tradition where they must play a game at midnight. All of them are good except for one. There is one bad game that becomes a game of life or death, and of course Samara Weaving's character chooses that game, and it's her against the entire family, and chaos ensues, and they believe that they have to sacrifice her by dawn or else something bad will happen to the family. When I first saw the trailer for this film, I actually kind of thought it looked stupid. I was like, what? This movie's coming out? But then as I watched the trailer for a second time in another movie, I got more excited about this. I was like, this sounds really cool. It kind of has a Clue vibe, but like an interesting twist where it looks dark and there's horror elements, but it's also a movie about this bride who has to play this game against her husband's family. That's psycho. Yeah, I'm in. I'm ready for this. My expectations going into this movie was that this movie was going to be balls to the wall, full-on adrenaline, a fun, thrilling, entertaining ride, and I got exactly that. This movie is so fun. It's so entertaining, and I think a lot of it has to do with the performance by Samara Weaving. I really like her as an actress. I think she has a lot of chops. She has a very promising career. She looks a lot like Margot Robbie. I've heard that a million times. But she really is her own person, and she really stands out in this film. She makes this movie really fun and really entertaining, especially moments of her fighting back against the family, because it does take her a while to kind of not get so scared, but realizing that the only way for her to survive is to fight back. And when she fights back, man, this movie just kicks into high gear, and it just keeps packing a punch after a punch after a punch, and it's awesome. There's also a lot of great humor in this film that mixes so well with this horror thriller vibe. This isn't really a horror film, it's more of like a thriller, but this is a movie that is dark, and the comedy is dark, and it works so well. There are certain characters in this film that they kind of rely on heavily for the comedy. There's this one in particular. He's kind of a bigger guy, and he's actually a brother-in-law to her husband. He married into the family, and you start to understand him as a character and kind of why he acts the way that he does. Usually when you go into a movie and they rely just heavily on one character to bring a lot of humor, it doesn't work. But in this instance, I found that it really worked. There was a few scenes that I laughed hysterically out loud. And one in particular with that character, I don't want to get into anything because, it's spoiler based. I found the characters to be really endearing and really fun, and they really brought this element of surprise, because I really thought that this movie was going to let me down. I thought it might be stupid, but it honestly, it's fun. And even the moments that are stupid and ridiculous and over the top, the movie does a good job of not taking itself so seriously and having fun with those over-the-top moments, and it's really great. This is also a very violent and gory film, especially in the last, 10 minutes of the movie. A lot goes on, and the movie really steps into high gear with the violence and the gore, but it's really funny too, what they do. Again, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but this is a great time at the theater. It's a lot of fun. There are some nitpicky things here and there, like number one, some of the decisions that certain characters make don't line up with what they stood for at the beginning of the film, and the way that they kind of flip on a dime just doesn't make sense to me from a story standpoint and from a character standpoint. But honestly, I can accept the movie for what it is and just know that it really is a ball of craziness. that's really what you're getting yourself into. I mean, this is a crazy movie. It's a fun movie too. It's somehow in my top 10 right now of the year because of how much fun I had with this film. Do I think it's going to stay there? No. I also really like certain elements. Like, for another thing is I thought that like every person that comes into the family had to play the same game, but then realizing that there's truly just one bad card that she ended up drawing, that hasn't happened a lot in the family. So you can see how certain characters react in certain situations where they have to try to kill her and they can't because they just don't feel comfortable with it, or they've never done anything like this before, and so they use that humor to their advantage in certain scenes where it makes for a really compelling narrative as well, and you understand the reason why the family's doing it, even though it's horrible. And it is a really interesting premise. It's a movie that's really out there. It knows what it is, and it doesn't sell itself short. And it's really balls to the wall. Honestly, the movie, it's a little weird in pacing because it feels like the introduction of the film is so short, and this game is really long and kind of exaggerated at times, where we didn't really get an introduction with a lot of these characters. But at the same time, I think the pacing does work for what it is trying to go for. And yeah, it's really fun every single minute. There's like a lot of things going on. The setting in this huge, luxurious castle-like house is incredible. But anyway, guys, definitely go check out Ready or Not. It is a fun time at the theater, and you will really be in for a shock with some of the things that they do. Anyway, guys, what did you think of Ready or Not? Let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.